Okay, let's go back to 2014. I'm about to have my baby. Well, not mine. Well, my wife is going to have it. And I'm looking down the barrel of gaining more weight, all of that. I'd gotten up to 240 pounds, even though I played basketball regularly. A lot of that was due to an injury that I had sustained on my ankle that kept me out for a long time. And it was just hard to take down the weight. And I experimented with low carbs. And finally I found something that showed me it really worked. I read a lot of books on it and then tried it. And that was keto. And if you were my Facebook friend in 2014, you know when I started keto and you got to follow along as the weight, 37 pounds dropped off. This is a wonderful thing for me. It really made sense that if we can change the body's endocrinology, we can get the body to burn fat instead of burning sugar. And in that state, it's a lot easier to maintain your current weight and definitely drop the pounds. So lots of arguments on Facebook about that. Trainers, doctors. I even had to, I had a physician give me meds because the way my blood work was looking, and I had to, protest and say, hey, look at my actual blood work. What you're saying can't be true. I do not have metabolic syndrome. I am a perfectly fit, muscular athlete with not a lot of fat on my body. It doesn't fit metabolic syndrome. And I've had similar discussions with trainers is that you don't have enough energy, which is true to a certain extent. But if you're solving for weight loss, keto was the answer. Now you skip ahead 5 years and you see keto everywhere. It's a fad, but it's not really a fad in that it's based in science. There's a lot of work that's been done on it, and certainly it's at the beginning stages, and 30 years from now, we'll know the absolute best practices for the ketogenic diet. The guy that I mostly learned the ketogenic diet from was a guy named Attia, Dr. Peter Attia. Now, I did learn some from Volek and Finney, learned some of that stuff there, particularly how to formulate a diet, but a lot of the science and why a ketogenic diet won't kill you, and in fact quite the opposite, was from Peter Attia, because he took the time to do a very methodical explanation about cholesterol, all of the cycles in endocrinology, how insulin works. He was very patient with that. So skip ahead again to 2019, and Peter Attia is not doing as much keto. He doesn't put that forward first, but really the answer now is fasting. And he is basically saying that whole discussion about how you guys are going crazy, multiple threads on your Facebook page with trainers saying you're crazy, Well, kind of you were right in that low carbohydrate diets are going to really positively affect insulin and make it so that the body can lose weight and maintain proper control of the weight. That's to a point correct, but it misses this really higher level of problem that can be solved, in that really what we need to do is stop eating. And stopping eating is good for digestive system. Everyone knows Thanksgiving. It's like 2 days later, like, hey man, I gotta slow down putting stuff in here. Everything is just messed up down in here. And what they're saying basically is that the endocrinology needs a break away from constant. Of course, putting in sugar is bad. Putting in carbohydrates is bad. But putting in even anything else most of the day is going to negatively affect your insulin response. And that really what we have in our bodies when we talk about type 2 diabetes is too much insulin. And so to solve the problem of too much insulin, you need to stop eating. When you eat, insulin comes out, tells the body to store the fat. That's how it works. And so in this podcast that I am now recommending to you, Dr. Peter Attia and the fasting expert, Dr. Jason Fung, are going through in a very elementary way, very slowly going through the steps of how they arrived at this decision that really the most powerful tool to lose weight, to get your insulin in control, is to fast. And there are many different types of fasting. There's the fast that I have done for years, which is not even breakfast. I am now starting to only eat one meal a day. Those things, that's what Dr. Peter Attia would call time restricted feeding and what everyone else in the world calls intermittent fasting. What he calls intermittent fasting is actually fasting for 7 whole days, just water. And the response that the body gets is just tremendous. But this is a whole new paradigm shift. It basically makes my arguments with people on Facebook all those years ago. Sure, you kind of have that right, but it's a stupid argument. Really what needs to be done, really the best tool, the most powerful tool is to stop eating. So I recommend this podcast to you. If you take, 6 weeks to go through it, it's a long podcast, you'll be better for it. But they go through it in basic language. Yes, some of it they do go back to some of the names of the meds, and that can be a little bit confusing. But for any regular person, the analogies they use in this podcast will help you to understand why you need to fast to control insulin and to control weight. Enjoy.